feed, we did a couple things initially by like identifying our unique value props. Again, I said this is a national conversation. So one of the incentives to participate is that it's not like other social media platforms are siloed, right? Twitter, you can only tweet to people who are following you. You know, Facebook, you can only talk to people who are your friends. Instagram, same thing. The idea here, one of the incentives was that people would want to participate because if their comment got accepted and it went through, that their voice could be heard by everyone, right? That they had a chance to have their ideas seen by everyone. Another unique value prop that we had was, like I said, to effectively learn about sensitive topics, to ask the questions you're afraid to ask otherwise, and to do so knowing that it won't, like you won't necessarily get in trouble. And the 3, insights from experts. So basically all of these conversations are moderated, right? It starts with you submitting a comment, but each topic that rotates every 4 hours would be controlled by a moderator who gets to decide what comments are let in and what comments are not worth sharing with the greater good. So in this case, it would be like, if the topic was the one I mentioned at the beginning, a topic that people might be interested in and want to learn about, people could submit comments, but the moderator is basically deciding what comments get let in. As you can see, all of these users are anonymous. They're just given like a randomized anonymous persona. It allows them to say whatever they want, but we also felt like it would allow people to like focus on the ideas themselves without bias. If I create a username, you know, that's saying something about me. If I create an avatar, that's saying something about me. We felt like stripping all of that and just letting the ideas speak for themselves would allow people to just think about the ideas themselves. We broke up each kind of main idea into 4 tiers. These were called the information keys, as you can see over here, that live right here. The 4 main kind of topics that the moderator would be breaking things into would be fact. These are things that are absolutely true, and that's all there is inside of them. Theories. These are theories that contain facts, but then use those facts to speculate on new things. Pathos. This is like if you're making a statement that invokes an emotion in order to make an argument. And then opinion. This is a commonly held belief by people that the moderator feels is valuable, either so that people can agree with it or disagree with it. But the opinion that gets let in is basically essentially like, this is something that a large group of people think about and talk about and believe already. The moderator, you know, you could see like in-depth questions here that would explain the topic in more detail. You can see the rating of the issue, like with X's, we were like 1 to 5, like how sensitive is this issue, so that people can know if they feel like they're going to be really like triggered or offended by some of the topics, they can kind of get an idea of what to avoid. You get the credentials of the moderator. Again, the moderator is anonymous. They were just given an object name and an X, but you get to see at least their credentials, like this person would have a PhD in racial studies. And you get to see the time remaining for each topic. Like I said, they rotate in 4-hour blocks, and that's also represented here by this kind of status bar that kind of winds down as you're discussing. The other thing we wanted to do is we have these agree and disagree buttons, and that's a way you can kind of let your voice be known through voting as well, not just opinions. And we decided to like hide the stats. One of the things is like with social media, sometimes the stats and how much people like or dislike something can sway your opinion about it and create bias in itself. So here, another feature we came up with was basically allowing people to not see the numbers until they've actually decided what they think about it, so that they can like allow themselves to evolve naturally. And then another feature we thought would be, we had like the sticky header, so when it scrolls up. That was another thing we wanted to do, is we wanted to really have everything focused on the content itself, highly readable, mainly black and white with just a few colors, a lot of space for the content. And here was another feature that we came up with. Basically, like if you touch on a specific comment, if you really want to spend some time with it and read it and absorb it, you can select that comment. It'll pause the feed and allow you to kind of sit with it for longer before hitting the top button here would take you back to the top and refresh. But all of this, another reason we picked Exchange is because it kind of like, we're doing like a live ticker here. So comments come in real time, and it kind of evoked this sense of the stock exchange, except instead of trading stocks, it's like trading information. And then finally, there's these, this concept of like the top. And this is where you can go and actually see the comments that have been the most highly rated, the most talked about, or the most shared, or the most talked about. And our idea here was like, if you're catching the tail end of a topic, let's say, this could almost serve as like a BuzzFeed. Like if I'm trying to read Twitter threads or Reddit threads, they get very Byzantine and complex. The information is kind of wound through all these different subject matters and users. We also wanted to, like I said, keep everything in one conversation. Kelly made a really good point. Like in business meetings, one of the rules sometimes that you set up is like no side conversations, right? Because those side conversations could be information that is valuable to share with the group as a whole, and everybody needs to hear everything. So if you're talking to people privately, other people lose out. And so by kind of siloing everything into main conversations, not only can people see everything everybody has to say and focus on the conversation at hand, but they can also come here and like, it's almost like a BuzzFeed, like kind of listicle or something. It's like a really easily digestible overview of everything that everybody talked about in this app. And then the other thing was, like I said, just like giving people anonymous, when they're onboarding, just anonymous personas, so they don't have to think about their username. They don't have to think about, you know, they're not revealing anything about themselves except their ideas and what they believe. So that was kind of the main thinking that we had. Kelly, did you want to add anything?
No, I can't think of anything. But I would be curious to get people's reactions and questions. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, and one last feature we had was that's not represented here is essentially this idea of like IQ points. It's like, it's a little bit of like a behavior design element, an encouragement element, an enticement. So if you create a comment and you submit it to the natural conversation and the moderator accepts it in, that would give you an IQ point. Depending on how many people like it based on some sort of algorithm, that would give you an IQ point. Users who use this app a lot, contribute a lot on a high level, and are making worthwhile comments and commentary, could feel some sort of ownership of what they're giving and what they're sharing, and feel like, you know, like proud of like the things that they're actually contributing to national conversations that people are curious about. And this doesn't also, and it doesn't have to just be about like sensitive issues. It can also be, you know, opportunities for people, like I said, like maybe like for young women, it's like, I'm 16 and I'm pregnant and I don't know what to do. Like, should I, you know, what should I do? What's some advice? You know, the conversations that, like I said, just are too sensitive to have in everyday life, but are extremely important because they really affect who we are. So yeah, that was.
I will say one other thing is that after this 4-hour block is up, and think of the app kind of, for anyone who's familiar with the HQ trivia, how you log into the app and there's one trivia going on. So there's only one topic going on at a time. And at the end of that 4 hours, it would be permanently deleted. So this is just like a conversation that happens in real time. Nobody's recording it. It's kind of just unadulterated comments and ideas that are put out there that people can read, and then it's gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was a big feature. That was actually kind of the initial idea, is that once you say these things, it's over, and you know, nobody's going to be able to dox you or like try to figure out who you are or reveal your information online, because that information just disappears. And you can, I mean, you see this on Twitter all the time where people they started Twitter in 2010 and they've become a different person in 8 years because they've been having conversations with people and learning about things and having contact with people they didn't ordinarily. And they've grown into somebody else. And then somebody goes back into their history, reveals something about them that they're not proud of anymore. and it's not really representative of who we are, and we're not really good at forgiving people in that way. So I think this would be a way to have those kind of conversations in a safer manner than on Twitter. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well done, guys.